So let me introduce myself. I'm Preeti here. I have 14 plus years of experience into IT and 8 plus years of experience into DevOps, worked in different roles in DevOps and also have experience conducting DevOps trainings, corporate as well as online. That's a brief about myself. And before we begin the actual content, actual topic, let me talk about the main agenda of this course. I believe I'm rechecking. I believe I'm audible to everyone. Please recheck your network connectivity, mic, headset, everything. Also, please keep muted. If you have any questions, you can unmute and speak out. Otherwise, please keep muted so that it avoids any background noise. And yeah, let me talk about the main objective of the course. At the end of the course, the candidate will be ready to clear the interviews, right? And also they can work on the projects independently with confidence. That's the main agenda of the course. There are people, there are people from different areas or different backgrounds. I can say like people who are completely freshers, people who are completely experienced into IT, 15 plus years, managers were there, freshers were there, developers were there, testers were there. So people with different experience levels and different backgrounds who are completely from non-IT, who are from science backgrounds were also there. The agenda of the course, like I already mentioned, is to switch your career to DevOps. Maybe you might be coming from a different background or else you might be already in DevOps. You want to enhance your knowledge. Yes, this course is suitable for everyone. How is that suitable for everyone, right? See, the course is designed in such a way that I will go from basics, be it any topic. I'll take from the basics till the advanced concepts. You cannot just name it as a basic course or advanced course. I don't want to name my course as such. This suits everyone. That was designed in such a way that everyone can benefit out of this course, benefit in an effective manner, right? You can switch your careers, you can work in the projects more confidently than before. Let's say you are already a manager, you are leading a DevOps team, you already know some tools, but you want to know how they integrate, what are the best practices. Even this course will help you to that extent. So anyone can go through this course and switch your career to DevOps. If you're already working, yes, this will help you enhance, this will help you add value to the project, right? So that's how the course is designed. Like I said, every topic will be dealt from the basics till advanced, and the course is designed in such a way that what are all the topics we need definitely as a DevOps engineer, right? So it was a 2 months course. Every day it will be 1.5 hour session, completely practicals covering real scenarios with your own lab. I'll tell you how to set up your own lab. How can you do the hands-on? When you are doing hands-on, complete support will be there from our end through WhatsApp. There are a team of people who can support you with all your queries. I'll be there anyway. So that's how through WhatsApp you'll get a support. You can collaborate with the team. We'll create a separate batch with a confirmed with the registered students, where you all can interact and collaborate with the doubts or with the hands-on. All the scenario-based questions will be given as a hands-on. Some of them are there on our website, as well as we'll be providing them in the class. Also, whenever we were learning, we'll be talk about interview questions, how the interviews would be, with what perspective you should learn a topic. As I sit in the interview panel, you get exposure to how to take the interview questions, in what way you have to learn any particular topic. That exposure you'll get. Am I audible, everyone? Some of you saying there is no voice. Can someone please confirm, am I audible? You can unmute and speak, or else you can message in the chat window.
Yes, yes, ma'am, you are perfectly audible.
All right, thank you. Whoever cannot hear me, please check from your end. You have to rejoin, check your network connectivity. You have to recheck the things. Please recheck. So that is the main agenda of the course. And I believe definitely there will be so many questions about this DevOps, like a lot of confusions or everything. Today it would be a demo session which will clarify many of your questions, which will erase the blurriness over these topics. Like, I'm a developer, am I suitable? I'm a tester, can I learn DevOps? Should I learn coding? Or else a lot of confusions or questions I can see definitely around these points. All those points will be clear. Today, by the end of the topic, or today, by the end of this session, you'll get clarity on all of these questions, right? If you still have any questions, you can speak with me at the end of the course. Okay, you can unmute and speak with me if you want to discuss anything about your personal carry choice or make a decision about anything, you can talk to me at the end of this topic today, right? So with this note, let's begin. And I'll be taking up the questions at regular intervals. So yeah, let's get started. Like I said, today's agenda is big picture of DevOps. Like you'll get a high level overview of what is DevOps, why DevOps. Some of you might be already aware of it. Let's refresh the things, right? Like I said, everything will go from the basics. You might be already working with some tool, but we'll start from basics till advanced so that it will help everyone. If you already know something, it would be like a recap, revisit the things, and it will also help everyone who is new. Sorry. So yeah, roles and responsibilities of DevOps engineer, DevOps delivery pipeline, like what is a CICD pipeline, like how it works and all. DevOps tools and skills. What are all the tools we'll be covering? What skills you will be getting by the end of this course? All of this will be covered today. So yeah, let's get started. So let's begin with what is DevOps, right? That's the first basic question. Whenever you learn anything, for that matter, any topic, any tool, any subject, we should get started with what is it, why you should learn, right? What are the benefits of learning it? So let's go to the same process. Let's learn what is DevOps. Some of you may be having idea about it. Let's deep dive into what is DevOps. Let's get a better clarity on this. Just give me a second. I'm sharing the Blackboard. Can you all see the black screen?
Yes.
Thank you. Thanks for confirming. So let's begin and understand what is DevOps. See, as the name says, it's a combination of two terms, development and operations, right? We all know what is a development team and operations team. Let me give a very quick overview here. See, developers are nothing but like who write the code, who develop the application, like programmers or developers, whatever you call them. They are responsible in developing the application by writing the code, right? By building the application, by design, by working on design of the application and all, right? Operations team are nothing but who will take care of the entire infrastructure. If you want me put it in more detail, like I can say, ops team or infrastructure will take care of the infra management, right? Like they'll take care of the servers, services on those servers, access, logins, networks, all of this may be taken care by ops team. Like let's say admin team, right? And developers who develop the code, who work for designing the application, right? Who work for building the application, right? And of course, once developers are done with their coding, they would pass or they would send the application to QA team, right? Testing team. They would test the application, right? They would, maybe it might be manual test cases or automation test cases. If any test case fail, they'll send to developers. All of this happen. And I'm including that QA also under development, right? Let's say when I say development, I'm including QA also here. So all of this would be taken care by dev team, and infrastructure management would be taken care by ops team. And let's suppose developers, like I said, I mean testers also. Let's say they need some new operating system or else they need some new service to test their application. So if they need any changes to the infrastructure, they would request the ops teams, right? Or else ops teams should serve the request of this dev team by providing the requirements they have. Let's suppose, okay, developers have raised some requests, they need some new service. Ops teams, before they serve the request, they would do a lot of checks. Because see, when they are making some change, the environment should be still stable. So they would check that, okay, fine, if this change is made, is the infrastructure going to be stable? Any other services going to be impacted? Any servers going to down? Any access going to be affected? All of this they would check before they serve their request, right? Definitely, which will take a lot of time. Meanwhile, developers are waiting for the change they need, right? And developers always think that ops team is taking too much time to serve the request. And ops team have a complaint that developers are always requesting something which they are not sure of. Because operations team will always look for stability in the infrastructure. Means what may happen the servers, the applications, the logins, all of them should be stable, up and running, right? Developers will be always looking for agility in the infrastructure. They need some changes because to develop or to test, they may need some new service, they may need some changes. So this is what is happening, and there arises some gap between them because see, the main reason for this gap is there is no proper communication, no proper collaboration between the teams. Means developers doesn't understand the requirements of challenges of ops team. Similarly, ops teams doesn't understand why they were requesting these changes and all. No proper collaboration, no proper communication. Hence, there arises the gap between the teams. It's very important to eliminate this gap, isn't it? There should be proper understanding, collaboration between the teams to have productivity or to work effectively. So how to erase this gap between them? How can we erase the gap between the teams? Any solution from your end? What do you think? How can we eliminate this gap? Anyone want to answer? Please be interactive. You can unmute and speak out. Any thoughts would be appreciated.
By acquiring the role of each other.
Okay. Sri says coordination.
Introducing the automation.
Okay, by automating the process, you mean?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah. So, okay, this is one of the reasons why DevOps came in. See, we were talking about why DevOps came in. Okay, why do we need DevOps? This is one of the reasons. It's not the only reason. Okay, this is one of the reasons to eliminate the gap between the teams, right? What are the problems? Any other problems there? Yes, let me talk about the next problem. The next problem is, like I said, okay, developers are writing the code. Okay, once developers write the code, they will pass the application to QA team. QA team will test the application, right? Let's suppose they find some bugs or defects. What they'll do? If they find any bugs or defects, what will QA team do?
Send to the development
They
team.
will send it to developers. Developers will fix it. They'll again make some changes. Again, they'll send it to QA team. This process keep on continuing, right? Till the application is defect free. Let's suppose, okay, the application is defect free. It was all perfectly ready and available now, right? So let's say, okay, application is ready. They will send it for release, right? We need to release the application to end users. Here comes the ops teams into picture. Means they will hand over this application to ops teams or admins, right? Whatever you call them. So it is the responsibility of ops teams to deploy the application. Deploy the application means make it available for end users, right? So, okay, fine. Let's say a development team and QA team has handed over this application to ops teams. Whenever they were handing over this application to ops teams, they will also hand over the instruction document. This instruction document is nothing but, okay, see, let's say now ops team have to deploy it on some servers. Isn't it? Imagine a Facebook.com or Amazon.in. It would be deployed on multiple servers, right? On these servers, what software should be there? What packages, what services should be there? Which versions of the packages should be there? All of that should be taken care by ops team, isn't it? Let's say this is a Java application. Java should be installed on all these servers, correct? So which version of Java? What other dependencies should be there? All of that will also be shared in this instruction document. Am I making sense? Right? So because developers know their application, they know which versions of Java or which version of dependencies and software should be there. They will create they will share the application, also share the instruction document. By following that instruction document, ops teams should get the servers ready and should deploy. But then now ops teams face a lot of challenges because those instructions may not be working always. There might be some problem with those instructions because those instructions might be working on one operating system, one server. It might not be working on other operating systems or other servers, right? The versions may not be compatible, which they have mentioned, right? They have to figure it out. They have to fix it. They have to see that application is running. All of this takes a lot of time and effort, right? Meanwhile, deployment or release to end users is getting delayed. Means slow process of release. Application is developed, let's say in January, it might be released in April also. Taking a couple of months to set all of this environment and see that application is ready and running. Also, ops teams should see that the application is always available, no downtime, right? If something is broken in the middle, they should be able to fix it, right? All of these challenges ops teams takes, and overall deployment or release is becoming very slow. The process of deployment or release is slow down. How to overcome this challenge? Right, this is another challenge. Correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. This is one more challenge we have. The deployment or the release process is slow. There is a gap between the teams. See, this is arising. Why was this gap? Because see, to develop an application, take any application. It might be online shopping application. It might be social networking application. It might be a banking application. Right? Take any application. There were so many teams who work for the application, isn't it? We are just talking about the major teams like dev team, QA team, or ops, but there'll be so many teams who work behind that, isn't it? There were so many teams involved in it. And yeah, we were talking about these three teams. And if you closely look into these three teams, yes, they were working for the same application, but their areas of expertise are different. Their core skills are different. Their core competencies are different, isn't it? See, developers will be great at coding. They may be having database knowledge. They may be having a knowledge with the build tools and so on, right? Whereas ops teams, if you, or else let's say testing, they will be good with the testing tools or test process, writing the test cases, managing test reports and all. Ops teams would be great with the infrastructure management. Means they are all working for the same application, but each team has got their own skill set. Their core competencies are different. Hence, each team may not understand the challenges of others. Each team may not understand the requirements of others, right? So again, gap because of the core skills are different and the release process is slow, right? That's a second challenge. And there is one more challenge. Let me list out that also. Can I proceed or any questions in this part? Good to go. Please confirm me in the message or you can unmute and speak out.
Yeah, no question.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, this is second reason. Another reason is if you look into the traditional software methodologies, what are the other traditional software methodologies we have? I'm talking about software development lifecycle and the traditional methodologies, particularly like waterfall methodology, right? See, you don't need to learn here waterfall and all just to show you the drawbacks. I'm just giving you a quick recap of what is SDLC. SDLC is nothing but different phases involved in development of an application, like requirement analysis. Of course, first you have requirement gathering, requirement analysis, understand the requirements, designing the application, involved in developing the application. Then comes the next phase of testing. If any bugs, it would be again like fixed and all. And then comes delivery and maintenance. Like so many phases, each phase goes one by one. There is no going back. It just goes only in one direction this way, and hence it's called waterfall methodology. I believe everyone might be knowing it. If you are not aware of it, no problem. Just understand these are the different phases. This is called waterfall methodology. This was used or this served the industry for decades, more than 20 years or so. But it has got many challenges both the dev team and ops team faced. Correct? What are the challenges dev team faced? See, this methodology was very slow. Like let's suppose coding is completed today, September. It might be going for testing on October or so, or else in November. Meanwhile, developers will be working on other new requirements. Then testers begin testing, right? So developers will have pressure to work on old code to fix the bugs. They have to work on new code as well, lot of pressure. And as testing is delayed, it is very costly methodology, right? It's a slow and it's a costly. And also it's not flexible. Means, see, let's say client came up with the requirements. Okay, requirements were freezed on September 1st, 2023. Okay, Let's say client have some new modifications. They want to add new requirements, or they want to add new modifications or new requirements. No going back is allowed. Let's suppose they are doing coding. Client came with modifications. No going back is allowed, right? They cannot go back and accommodate that new modifications or new requests. It's not flexible. If that is the case, it doesn't work in today's world, because nowadays almost all the clients comes with requirements, modifications, new changes. If it is not acceptable, it doesn't work in reality nowadays, right? Here, if requirements were given in 2023, the product will be delivered maybe after 2 years, 2025, without any modifications or changes. So in these 2 years, so many changes might have happened, right? A lot of changes might have happened. Business might have changed completely. If the model cannot accept it, client doesn't need the product anymore, right? So it's not flexible. Complete software will be delivered all at once after 2 years without any modifications, which client doesn't need anymore. So these are the main challenges development team face. Lot many other challenges were there. Similarly, ops team face challenges like they have to maintain the servers up and running for longer durations. Maintaining servers for longer durations, keeping them up and running would be a challenge, because like I'm talking about everything manual, they were not using any tools. Poor configuration management. Configuration management is a separate concept. We'll talk about it in the due classes. Here, just understand, let's say you have 100 servers. You want to install some package on one of the server, right? To get the details of that particular server, to configure that particular server individually would be a challenge. You need a proper configuration management tool to have better control on the infrastructure, right? Also, poor monitoring. You need a monitoring tool. You can't monitor the infrastructure manually. Let's say you have 100 servers. You can't monitor their health, CPU, resource utilization manually. You need some tools in place. So these were all the challenges posed by this waterfall methodology. How to overcome these challenges? Yes. How can we overcome these challenges? See, actually, to overcome these challenges, Agile methodology came in. Yes, Agile came into picture, but that was successful to overcome challenges of dev team only. Challenges of ops team were still there. With Agile, challenges of ops team were still there, right? It could solve the problems or drawbacks faced by development team, but challenges faced by ops team were still there. So we need some other methodology. That's where DevOps came in actually. DevOps could successfully overcome the challenges faced by both the dev team and ops team. Got it? So how we'll see, okay, how it can overcome and all we will see. But yes, the third challenge is challenges posed by traditional software methodologies. Right, this is another problem. Right, traditional methodologies. So these are all the main challenges or the reasons why DevOps came in. So how to overcome this? That's where DevOps can help you with. DevOps came in picture to solve all these problems, but how it can solve and all we'll discuss. But before going to that part, as we came to Agile, let's talk about Agile also for a few things. Like we discussed, okay, Agile can solve the challenges of dev team, but how is that possible? Yes, that is possible because in Agile, there will be like a frequent releases. Every week or every alternative week, there will be a release. It's not code is delivered completely all at once. In Agile, code will be delivered every week or every alternative week. Okay, because of this, Agile could solve the problem. Let's say coding is ready now. The code is ready now. It would be immediately going for testing. So there will be frequent releases. Right, it's not that code is completely delivered after 2 years or so. Frequent releases will be there. Testing became faster. Let's say code is ready now, immediately it will be going for testing, right? Code will be developed or delivered in bits and parts, in chunks. It's not that complete software is delivered. Because of these, it can eliminate the challenges of faced by developers, right? And also this concept is called continuous development, continuous testing, and continuous integration. What is meant by that? See, let's say it's a week 1. Developers have developed a chunk of code, a bit of code called EA. Immediately, okay, let's say this is developed. Okay. Development happened. On week 2, let's say immediately it would be going for testing. On week 2, that particular chunk of code A will be tested by testing team. Meanwhile, developers are not sitting idle. Week 2, they get started developing another chunk of code called B. Next, on week 3, this B will be tested. Okay, also developers will be testing another chunk of code, right? Also, at some point of time, let's say week 4, all of this code will be combined and tested. Then only it makes a complete product, right? So any new changes will be merged and tested. So if you notice here, every week, both development and testing is happening, isn't it? This is what is called continuous development and continuous testing. The term continuous is important, means testing and development are happening parallelly, iteratively. That's called continuous development, continuous testing. Any changes would be integrated into the system, which is called continuous integration. See, we'll talk about this in detail in the coming classes. We have a separate session on it. We'll do hands-on on it as well, right? So this is giving you an overview or an idea. So because Agile implements continuous development, continuous testing, continuous integration, it can eliminate the drawbacks faced by developers. But drawbacks faced by ops team is still there. Understood this, everyone? Here, my idea is not to teach you Agile methodology or waterfall methodology. Just to show you the importance of DevOps, I have to show you like what Agile did, what SDLC, like waterfall methodology has done. Right? So this is what Agile. So it was successful to a certain extent, but we need ops teams challenges also fixed. So there came methodology called DevOps methodology. So how it can overcome the challenges, let me tell you. So first thing, there is a gap. How to eliminate this gap means these teams should work together with a proper collaboration, with a proper understanding. Means in DevOps or else DevOps team would be communicating with the dev team and testing team very frequently. They work very closely. It doesn't mean that a DevOps person should go and write the code. No, still development team will be there who write the code. Testing team will be there who test that or who develop test cases. DevOps team will be able to deploy the application. Means let's say, okay, developers are ready with the code. Okay, developers are ready with the code. Testers are ready with the test cases. DevOps team should be working in the process of taking this code to the production table automatically. That's what is DevOps. All the process involved in here. Once developers are ready with the code, testers are ready with the test cases, DevOps team are responsible in taking this code to the production table automatically without any manual intervention. In this process, DevOps team is involved. What are all the tools, strategies, methodologies we need here? We'll be learning. That's what is DevOps. All right. So DevOps team will not write the code, or else DevOps team will not write the test case. But once code is ready, that's where DevOps work begins. Once code is given to DevOps team, they should take it to the production table automatically. So they'll use so many tools. They'll use automation process. They'll use some strategies and methodologies. That's what we'll be learning. So whoever is interested in this process of taking the code to the production table automatically have to learn these tools, the automation process, and involve in the strategies and implementation of it. That's what is DevOps. So the gap here is earlier, let me tell you, developers are handing over the application plus instruction document, right? Where in ops team, it's taking a lot of time for them to deploy. But now what they are doing, the way they were sharing the application totally changed. Developers are not just giving the application directly with instructions. Developers will share the application in a different format, or else let me tell you, they were containerizing the application. What is containerizing? Those are all the concepts which we'll learn. Just understand they'll use Docker. The way they were sharing the application changed. Just understand that the way they were sharing the application changed. They will Dockerize it or containerize it and share it. When it was shared in that format, it would not be difficult for operations team to search for versions, to search for compatibility and all. It makes the deployment process simple. So when they were Dockerizing. So developers also should learn Docker. Developers should have knowledge of it. Ops teams, DevOps teams should definitely know it because it was given in the form of a Docker container. They should know how to deploy it. Means the way of deployment, the way of release got changed with the tools. So not only DevOps person, let's say you are a developer, you still want to continue your career as a developer. Still you have to learn it because like I said, see, like in olden days, you are not sharing the application and the instruction document. Rather, you are changing the way you release the application or you share the application to other teams. Got the point, everyone? So everyone know Docker. Everyone should learn Docker. Developers should learn Docker. DevOps team should know Docker. So their common skill set, they are having now some common skill set. They can communicate better. They were discussing on how, what instructions or where are they deploying containers. Proper collaboration came in picture. There were some similar lines or the same tools which they were working on. So it arises a gap between them. The release process have become drastically faster because the way of deployment, the way of release changed, which accelerated the velocity of deployments. So deployments became faster. Also, they were using a lot of tools. DevOps means not just blindly using the tools, use the tools properly. It would be a chain of tools. We would connect the tools and from the CI/CD pipeline. So DevOps person is one who works on the CI/CD pipeline by integration of different tools by using different strategies and methodologies. So thereby it eliminates this gap completely, gap or all of these challenges. That's what is DevOps. Am I clear? So who can be a DevOps person? Anyone who is well versed with this automation process of taking the code to production table by implementing the tools and the strategies is called a DevOps person, or else whoever knows this can become a DevOps person. Let's say you are a developer for 13 years. Now you want to become a DevOps person means you will be working in this part. You will be no more working here. There will be separate team who work there. You will be moved to this part. Similarly, tester or else ops person or else you might be a DB person. If you learn this process, if you know this process, yes, you would be working in this stage, in the CI/CD process. Got it clear now? So DevOps person don't need coding because there'll be separate developers. Okay, you don't write the code. That's the first confusion everyone has. Should I know coding? No, you don't need the coding. Developers are a separate team. They are still there. They will write the code. They will share their application as a container. They'll containerize it. You have to deploy it on the other environment. So you would be learning the respective tools like Docker, Kubernetes, so on. Of course, there might be different ways. Just I'm giving one example with the Docker. So anyone who are well versed this process, who know how to use these tools can become a DevOps person, irrespective of your previous background, previous work experience. Am I clear what is DevOps? Let me differentiate with other teams so that it might be more clear for you. Let's talk about SDLC, Agile. Okay, let me compare with them. In SDLC, if you talk, there were the major phases like dev team or else development, then testing, right? And then like delivery. And or else delivery means, let's say, I mean deployment or delivery, whatever, and then monitoring. Everything is manual, happening one after the other. But here, development testing are happening parallelly, iteratively, continuous development, continuous testing, continuous integration, but deployment was manual and monitoring were also manual. After integration, deployment, monitoring is happening. But now with the DevOps, continuous development, continuous testing, continuous integration, continuous deployment, continuous monitoring. What is meant by that? See, whenever developer write a code, let's say they made some code, this would be going for testing. Every change developers make will go through the process of testing, integration. Yes, this would be deployed first to lower level environments like test environments, SIT environments, and then to production. And then monitoring means every change will go through the process. So it will be very faster, qualitative, because every change is going to the process. You can expect quality, faster releases, economical because everything is automated, right? Initially, this is called CICD pipeline. Initially, you may need more people here to design or to create this pipeline. Once it is created, you just need 1 or 2% to monitor the CI/CD. Means it's cutting on human resources. So the person with a great skill set will survive in the market in the near future. There'll be a tough competition, definitely. The person with a great skill set will survive in the coming future because everything is going to be automated. So this is the right time to invest your time, invest your effort and learn such a tools and become credible in your projects. So it will be like a single switch. Whenever developer make a change, it will go through all the process in the production service. Yes. Do you ever imagine if you take a Facebook or Amazon or whatever, all these gigantic companies are already implementing DevOps? All other small companies were also implementing it. In coming future, in coming couple of years, every company will strive for it. Even though you don't want to become a DevOps person, you still want to become a developer or continue as a developer or tester, still you want to learn, you have to learn it because you are working in this process, and the way you share the application, the way you release the application is very important. It will become mandatory. Everyone should master these tools. And like I said, this Amazon, Facebook, all these gigantic companies, you could see a feature very quickly, right? To implement new features, they won't take years or so. Facebook is the best example which implements this continuous deployments. Means any change developers make will hit the production servers. Of course, by going through all the process automatically, which would be still challenging, but that's where DevOps comes in. Right? This is a difference between the teams with respect to the process. Again, if you ask me with respect to the teams in the sense, in SDLC, 3 teams, let's say, okay, developers, QA, ops, they were working in a separation in silos. They doesn't understand each other challenges. They don't communicate. They were working as a separate team. There'll be blame game. If something goes wrong, developers will blame QA will blame ops and all. Right? But in Agile, because development testing are happening parallel iteratively, these 2 teams came together. Dev and testing were communicating, working together. They were communicating, working as the same team like development team. But ops team was still left in isolation. But now in DevOps, there is more communication. They were working together because deployment is also happening parallelly, continuously. So even these 2 teams came. These 2 means, of course, in Dev QA also involved, right? So they were working with a proper collaboration, with a proper understanding, with some common skill set, like the way they were releasing the application, the way they were creating CI/CD pipeline. They would communicate and do it. Right? Developers write the code, it would go for testing. Testing means these test cases were written by testers only, but they will be executed via the CI/CD pipeline automatically. Means they were communicating, they were interacting, everyone have idea on the CI/CD pipeline. So the process became faster, which the companies are looking for. So this is what is DevOps. Any questions on what is DevOps and why DevOps came in from anyone? Am I clear? Hope I clarified many questions. Can you become a DevOps person? Or still any questions, you can feel free to ask me.
Preeti, I have one question, Preeti.
Yes, please.
The entire process is only based on the e-commerce application, like a banking sector also is there for the DevOps?
Any application, it's a methodology. It's a methodology, it's a process, that's all. DevOps is not a technology, it's not a tool, it's not a software programming language, or it's nothing. It's a methodology, it's a process actually. See here, it's all about the process. And also, let me tell you one more thing. In companies, we see that people saying, okay, we started DevOps, we are implementing DevOps. It's not something which you achieve in an overnight. It's not that you started today, okay, DevOps is implemented, it is completed by next week. No. It's a continuous process of implementation and improvement and implementation. Because see, you create CI/CD, but there'll be always scope for improvement, enhancements, make the pipeline more automation, more better, more secure. So it's a continuous process of improvement. It's unending process. You can keep on modifying it. You can keep on making it better. So if someone say, okay, DevOps is implemented in a project, you ask them, is it completed? It's nothing like that. It's completed. We implemented DevOps 100%. No, it's a complete process of improvement and implementation. It's a process. So it is applicable for any application, irrespective of whether it is e-commerce or whether it is social networking application or it's a banking or whatever it is. Okay, there is a question from Banu. What is the difference between DevOps and site reliability engineers? See, DevOps is all about making the process automated and making the process quick, reliable. Okay, let me write here. The process is faster here. Okay, reliable, or else let me tell you, it should be quick. It should be ease. Means the process should be working or implemented with ease. It's not that every time there's a challenge with the automation, right? The process should be automated to achieve faster results. It should be quick and reliable solution. This is what is DevOps. But SRE, site reliability engineering, will be more concentrating on, as the name says, site means environment. Okay. Site means environment. Reliability means how reliable the infrastructure is, meaning how stable the infrastructure is. Means, okay, you have created the pipeline. So how effectively the pipeline is built and okay, application is deployed, how stable the application is, means how highly available the application is. Let's say, okay, the application is highly available, 100%. Practically, it's not possible. There will be something like 99%, 99.99% highly available. Means there will be some downtime. There will be SLA, service level agreements. There will be some downtime. So let's say the application is having low SLAs. Low SLAs means critical application. It should be highly available. So how will this be handled? There will be a separate team who check for reliability. Means, okay, the environment should be reliable. The application should be highly available for the end users because it's a critical application. They'll be keep on working for it. Means they'll be working more on monitoring. SRE will be more into monitoring the infrastructure, the environment. They'll be more into checking on metrics, SLAs. They'll be working in the meetings where SLAs will be fixed, SLAs will be configured. This would be the again unending process because achieving an application 100% high availability will not be possible. So these are the major things which SRE will be looking into. If you talk about an SRE role, they'll be more into calls. Right, always more into calls because it's a kind of support. Always something is down or else the system is impacting the business. It's a SLA is not met. All of this should be figured out. It would be a bit pressure, we can say, where they have to work on SLAs, the metrics, the monitoring part. They'll be continuously figuring out and check on how the systems can be made reliable with all this monitoring metrics and the other factors into consideration. That's what is SR. Hope you got the point, Banu. There is a question from Shivanand. I am working as a data engineer. Should I, 1 second, questions were being scrolled away. Just a second. Should I get a good scope if I learn this DevOps? Definitely, Shivanand. Like I said, everyone have a scope into DevOps, right? This is emerging, evolving tool. Still, it has huge demand for the DevOps professionals. Market is short of DevOps professionals still, and also market is picking up now. It's booming. We could see a lot of calls coming every day now. Few months back, it was freeze, but now calls were increased, like people were receiving the calls. So again, the market has picked up, I can say, only for DevOps, not for other technologies. Other technologies were still in freeze, but you have market open for DevOps. So it's a right time to get started marketing your resume. Shrikant, SRE is also a process of improvement, we can say. It's like a add-on of DevOps. DevOps is implemented, but you have to make the systems reliable, see that it meets all the SLAs. That's what SRE would be focused on. Any other questions? Got the answer, like what a DevOps person should know? He should know the tools, strategies, methodologies to make this pipeline automated. He will not be working on coding or testing because every day I see so many questions asking for like, should I know coding? I don't know coding. Can I learn DevOps and all? Pavan has a question. How many years can we expect the demand for DevOps? Like I said, Pavan, all the projects, all the companies were migrating for DevOps because of the advantages and the the ease we have with the DevOps. So almost every company is implementing it. In the near future, in the decades, coming decades, we can still expect DevOps. What about non-IT people? Reddy, like I said, everything take like a new concept. Don't keep in mind that I'm new to IT, I'm non-IT background, I'm non-coding background. We have done nothing here. Do you have anything with your non-IT background or IT background? Whether you are coming from science or whether you are a math student or whether you are an art student, just learn it like a separate subject, a new subject, that's all. Anyone can learn anything. First, remove the hesitation that I'm from non-IT, I'm from non-coding, whatever you are, right? Whoever you are, whatever background you are coming from, you are eligible. You just learn it as separate subject. Here I taught about SDLC. It's a general part, general topic. Okay, it's not only math students should know, science students should know. It's not any rocket science. Only put effort and time. Everyone can learn it. There's a question from Manikanta. How many DevOps engineer we can have in a project? It all depends, Manikanta. Okay, there is no strict or a number like there should be 4 DevOps person. It all depends on the hugeness of the application, their design and all. Will you teach Clutch? I haven't heard about Clutch, Shivanand. Don't we have any disadvantages in DevOps? Pavan, the disadvantage could be the people, the resources, because like I said, always there is a short of resources for DevOps. In the market is having huge demand, but it is lack of resources, short of resources, DevOps resources, because people know few tools or people know few methodologies. To expertise, to learn DevOps end to end, you should learn it in a proper way, in a structured way, you should be in a position to understand what you should know, what is not required, right? People just get overwhelmed with a huge tool set, huge topics. They just leave it in the middle or learn something which is important and so on. They just go for the interviews and people find it shortage for actual DevOps professionals. So that's one thing we have. See, when you are implementing DevOps, there should be a resource who is good, who is a genuine, or else in the sense who is having good technical knowledge of all the tools and the resources and the technology. That's what is the challenge we have. If we don't have enough resources or proper resources implementing DevOps, that would be a challenge in the project. Do we get live project explanation with live? Yes, Litesh, you will get the complete CICD implementation will be done on 2 projects and another 2 projects will be shared for you. Actually, 3 projects we'll do in the class and some of the other projects will be shared for you for hands-on. You will get enough hands-on on it. More than enough hands-on, I can say. But only thing is, I need your time and effort. You have to put your time, your effort. That's what we need here for sure. It's not just you listen and move on. It doesn't work. You have to do hands-on. From tomorrow, hands-on will begin. See, demo is nothing but just first class or few classes which you can attend for free. That's all. It's nothing but day 1. In my course, it's a day 1 topic. Okay. Okay, let's come back. See, this is what we all discussed. This was available as a presentation. We'll share it with you. You can go through it after the class for recap. Okay, this is like a notes. Whatever I have taught were here. Right, this is the differences we were talking about. And then, yeah, roles and responsibilities of a DevOps person. A DevOps person would be working on this CICD pipeline. Or else you might be given a task that you have to create some Kubernetes cluster, or else you may have to write some Terraform scripts. So all of that would be the responsibility of DevOps person. This topic, I'll talk about this in detail in the coming up sessions. How you will get a task. What are the roles of a DevOps engineer? How do you explain that in the interview? Right? All of that we'll discuss in detail. Let me give you a quick overview. There'll be some tool like Zira and all. Okay, let's say, okay, let me come from beginning. There'll be a project. Okay, you are a DevOps team. There'll be different projects. They might, let's say, okay, developers need to deploy their application. They may want some Kubernetes cluster. That would be a task for DevOps engineer. That task would be created in Zira and that would be assigned to DevOps team. DevOps lead will assign that task to the DevOps team members. Right, but okay, let's say in that Zira 100 tasks were there. which task they should take first, right? How to prioritize them, right? There might be a task on Kubernetes, a task on Terraform, a task on GitHub webhooks you have to create. So, okay, DevOps lead can assign them to the DevOps team members, but how do they prioritize? Which task should be handled first? That's where actually the product owner comes in. There'll be sprint or a scrum meetings will be there. Okay, the means every week or else every alternative week, 15 days they'll have a sprint. Sprint means cycle of releases, right? Like let's say a sprint started today, 3rd September. It may last for 15 days. Within this 15 days, these are the priority tasks. They'll put some tasks in the sprint, right? So these tasks will be, okay, these 20 tasks will be completed in this 15 days. That's for the sprint. So there'll be scrum meetings and the sprints where the task would be assigned. Product owner will decide the priority of them, and that's how tasks will be assigned. So the same way you have to explain in your interview also. Anyway, we will discuss this in detail separately. Like I said, I'm just giving you an overview. This topic will be dealt after few sessions, because after few sessions, once we start creating our CI/CD pipeline, you'll get more clarity on like, okay, what a DevOps person can do. Then we will revisit this topic. Okay, note it down. We will revisit this topic in the coming up sessions. Okay, and then skills and tools. See, these are all the tools we'll be learning in this course. Git, Maven, Jenkins, Docker. Of course, Docker means so many things are here. Docker Compose, Docker Swarm, and so on. Ansible, Terraform, both of them will be covered. Kubernetes, Docker Swarm, Prometheus, Grafana, and and AWS services required for DevOps. All of these topics will be covered. And of course, in Kubernetes, you have lot many topics. Helm concepts will be covered. See, this is just a brief list, right? Again, under each topic, you have a detailed content. You can visit that course content page. In Kubernetes, we'll be covering EKS, also Elastic Kubernetes Service, which is a paid service. I'm also covering that so that you will get a real exposure, because in real projects, you will be using EKS service. So how to use it also, I'll show you here. EKS service, Helm, all of these concepts will be covered. Creating Helm charts, the importance of it, and lot many things here again in Kubernetes. You can visit those subtopics in the course content. Right? Any questions here in the tools?
Hi,
Talk
Preeti.
about
Good
the
morning.
lab setup in few minutes. Yeah. Hi, Mohan. Good morning.
Yeah, Preeti, I have one question here for AWS. So, AWS basic services is enough, or advanced knowledge will be required for DevOps?
Here, like I said, AWS services which are required for DevOps will be covered. Okay, I don't name them as basic or advanced because there is no service called as basic service or advanced service. It all depends on your project. Okay, here if you say, let me list out here. I'm covering EC2, I'm covering Elastic Beanstalk, I'm also covering S3, I'm also covering EKS. See, EKS is a paid service, right? It's a paid service, it's a managed service. So you may call it as advanced, whatever you want. Like I said, I don't name them as a basic or advanced because it all depends. In AWS, more than 100 services are there. One need not learn all those services. Whatever required for your project, you have to learn. So here I'm covering EC2, EBS, S3, EKS, which is a paid service, and many others like code commit, code deploy, code pipeline, and so on. So many other services we are covering. Right? Even load balancers will be covered. Load balancer service of AWS, all of them will be covered. Right? Means basically whichever needed for us to implement DevOps will be covered, including
Okay,
paid services, managed services as well. Okay,
Yeah.
there are few
And
questions. Yes, please go ahead.
yeah, one more question is here, Preeti. Suppose someone is working in IT support infra field, right? And they are having around 10 to 11 LP of salary, and they have zero knowledge of DevOps. After completion of this training, is that person eligible to get hike of that salary, and 2 to 3 years of experience can they show? Is it
Yes.
possible?
For sure, DevOps is having good market. Like I said, already call started. DevOps is having good hikes. Like at least minimum 30% of hike you can expect. Minimum. Of course, if you show good good performance in the interviews, depends on your performance in the interviews also. So there were good hikes in the for DevOps people. And there's a question, DevOps technology has no specified dependencies on cloud irrespective of Azure, AWS or GCP platform. A question from Banu. Banu, DevOps is a methodology. You can implement it on-prem servers, means physical servers also, or you can implement it on cloud. Here, the DevOps course I teach, if you take up my course, you will be ready to implement DevOps on any platform, on physical servers, on-premise servers, you can implement, on cloud also you can implement. So you will be ready to implement it on any platform. Also here I'll be showing implementing it on-prem as well as on one cloud AWS. If you know implementing it on one cloud, obviously you can implement it on any cloud. Nowadays, companies are also looking for on-prem setup, on-premise setup, their own data centers and all, because of to overcome the cost of the cloud. Okay, there were a few more questions which were being scrolled away. Just give me a minute. Do we get lab guide and notes? Yes, Indresh, I'll talk about the lab in few minutes. Are we incorporating a testing framework into our CI pipeline? Yes, Avinash, we'll be learning how to execute your test case in the CI/CD pipeline. Yes. Are we provisioning an
Preeti, I
EKS
have-
cluster? Let me read out few questions here. Are we provisioning an EKS cluster using Terraform, or are we using AWS console to create one? Terraform. We'll be spinning up EKS cluster with Terraform because that's a real practice. Are we putting together a complete CI/CD pipeline using the tools? Yes, we are. I'm going to show you that also. We are going to create pipeline by integrating all these tools. Yes, blue-green deployments, canary methodologies will be covered. Hope you all have gone through the course content. I'll walk you through the course content also. Just give me a few minutes. What I know on my inquiry is cloud with DevOps required 10% of coding on Python and Linux. That's not mandatory, Kiran. I'll come to that part also. See, I'm talking about these tools, right? And for DevOps, DevOps will be implemented on Linux platform, right? Yes, majority of the DevOps tools needs Linux. So here in this course, we'll be also learning Linux from basics. If you are new to Linux or if you are completely new from new to IT, anyone can eligible for this. Means I'm teaching what is Linux, how to use Linux, everything in this course. Hope that is clear for you, Sai Kiran, regarding Linux. And Python automation is an optional thing. It's not mandatory in every project they use Python. Okay, it's a good to have. It's an additional skill set. It's not a part of DevOps. Okay, that's about the Linux thing, which will be, see, that's what I'm not saying this as a prerequisite because I'm going to cover it in the course. So this is the CI/CD pipeline. Some of you are asking, are we integrating all the tools and creating the CI/CD pipeline? Yes, this is the CI/CD pipeline. Git integration with the Jenkins, Selenium or any automation testing tool, then Docker, Kubernetes, Ansible, Terraform comes in the pipeline with Prometheus as well, end to end. This pipeline will be created in such a way that you can implement it in on-prem or on cloud as well. And AWS services. We'll be implementing it on AWS as well. Multiple pipelines or else pipelines on multiple projects will be created so that you will see end-to-end. Also, it's not that you just learn the tool and go away. We will learn the tool. We'll zoom into each section. Let's suppose tomorrow I'm going to start Git. We will zoom into this section, learn Git from basics till advanced, then we'll integrate in the pipeline. Okay, then we'll learn Jenkins again from basics to advanced, integrate here. Step by step, this pipeline creation will take more than a month, right? So step by step, we learn each tool and integrate it. We'll zoom into each section like Docker. We will learn all the Docker, including the best practices, then Kubernetes best practice, implement it on the project by creating the CI/CD. Every tool will zoom into each tool, then add it to the pipeline. Keep on adding and creating the pipeline throughout this course. Coding is not required for this DevOps. No coding required. Coding means developers write the code to develop the application. Here we write Terraform scripts, Kubernetes manifest files. That is not coding. You get the templates, you take the template and just modify it. It is as simple as that. There is an impression that the Kubernetes files are code. That's not a code. That's just a template. Terraform, that's not a coding as developers write. Okay. You get the format, you get everything you write, you put them in the right format and modify it. How easily you can do it, I'll show you. You don't need any coding here. That's not called coding. That's not coding at all. Coding means using Java or PHP or .NET. They write the logic, they develop the application. That is coding. That kind of coding we don't do here. We write the scripts, formats, templates will be already there, like a blueprints or copies. You modify with your own values. You should understand what this value is and you'll assign your own values to it. How to do that easily, how you can master that, I'll show you. That is not coding. Coding is not here. Any more questions? This is just, I'm
PT,
showing
I have
you
one.
this. Yes, please go ahead.
You teach only AWS. What about Azure? Some companies are hiring for Azure with AWS.
Companies
So
will
is it-
definitely hire for Azure. They'll have GCP, they'll have different clouds. But companies, what they're expecting is, if you know one cloud, if you have experience or knowledge on one cloud, they were expecting that you can work on other clouds. It is as simple as that. Because if you work on, that is true. If you know one service on AWS, let's say you know Elastic Kubernetes service on AWS, the Google Kubernetes engine of GCP is similar. You don't need to go and learn it separately. They are not expecting you should know AWS, you should know GCP, you should know Azure. They were expecting one cloud knowledge. If you know one cloud, you can work on any other cloud easily. That's the expectation from the companies. That's how you should learn. If you keep on learning each cloud one after the other, it may take years. We may grow old to take up the job also. That doesn't work. Even for that matter, not only cloud. Let's take a version control system. There are many version control systems like Git, SVN, TFS, Perforce, Mercurial. So many are there. Am I correct? You don't need to learn all of them. You master one tool under each category. Which tool I should master? The tool which has more job openings, which is more widely used, so that you get more exposure to it. So we were learning it because it's very widely used. It's a market leader. If you master Git, see, all the tools will have similar concepts. Concepts are similar. Terminology may be different. If you master Git, if you are champion, if you are expert in Git, you can work with any other version control system for sure. Any tool, the same is applicable. Similarly, monitoring tools. So many monitoring tools are there. You don't need to learn all the monitoring tools. You no need to learn all the testing tools, all the cloud and all. Isn't it? Should you learn, let's say you are a test automation test engineer. Let's say you know Selenium and UFT. Should you learn all other tools in the category and master them? With a little exposure, can't you switch to other tools? I'm expecting answer from you people. You can unmute and speak out. Let's interact. Am I correct?
Yes.
The same is applicable here. The same is applicable to any other tool. You master one tool, you master one cloud. That's how that will have your job perspective. There is some question. Job openings available on LinkedIn and Naukri. Yes, these days most DevOps jobs prefer proficiency in Python scripting, and by you say it's not required. Avinash, I still say the same. It's not mandatory. Okay, some of the projects may require that, but it's not mandatory. You revisit your job portal and you recheck it. It's not mandatory. Some of the projects may demand it, but you can't say that Bash or Python scripting is mandatory. Never. You recheck, because I have many participants, many students of mine who got job offers couple of months back. I have myself explored the job opportunities couple of months back. You can recheck and come back to me. I can show you many job opportunities without these two. That's not mandatory. That's a add-on skill set. How many months access do we have access to recordings? You will have access to recordings for lifetime access. There is no limit like you have access to recordings for 2 months or 1 month. It's a lifetime. Any more questions from anyone? This is the CICD pipeline. Let me give an overview of it. See here, developers write the code and place it in a Git. If you don't know Git, it's just a version control system where developers can store or back up their code. Tomorrow, we are going to start with Git from the basics till advanced. Tomorrow, hands-on begins. So once developer plays the code, we need Jenkins, which will pull that code, build it using Maven, which will test it, means which will run the test cases written by testers, which will containerize it or dockerize it, like some time back I'm talking about, and then Dockerize it, create a Docker container, Docker image, deploy it on the Kubernetes cluster for high availability, rolling updates, rollback, and different deployment strategies like blue, green, canary deployments. Also in Kubernetes, how to create Helm charts, all of that will be covered, and how to configure this infrastructure with Ansible and Terraform. Even they come and sit in the pipeline, right? And once that is done, we have a monitoring with the Prometheus and visualization with the dashboards like Grafana. That is the complete CI/CD pipeline. This could be implemented on-prem or on AWS. We'll be implementing it on AWS. We will create a free account on AWS and we'll see how to create this lab. Means you will have your own lab setup. It's not that you have to wait for someone or someone have to give the lab access. You will have your own lab setup, right? We will be creating our own lab on AWS on the free account. How to do that also I'll show you. No prerequisites. If you don't have AWS, if you don't know AWS, perfectly all right. I'll show you from the beginning, step by step, so that you'll have your own lab. Some time back, some of you are asking for the lab. Is it clear now about the lab? And also one more thing is, like once the registered students will get access to all the quiz portal, right, recordings, and also this is the drive where you have all the documentation with a hands-on. Like some of you are asking, will you get a hands-on document, right? Yes, you will get the hands-on documents. Yes, for every tool, even the sample resumes, interview questions. Of course, on the website, you have other interview questions which I have collected from the students who got the offers were there. All of this will be shared with you. Pipeline as a core concept will be covered, Avinash. Groovy scripting will be covered. We'll be covering it. Here in the pipeline, we are going to have different stages that suits the application deployment. See, we are creating pipeline with a core pipeline as a core concept with different stages. When you should add what stage depending on your application, because we will be doing this pipeline as a code also on multiple projects. So depending on the projects, your pipeline stages vary. When to add which stage, how to add it, depending on your application, all of them will be covered here. As like I said, I am covering this on multiple projects. So you'll get exposure to that. Any questions from your end? Any more questions? And yeah, like I don't see many of you have gone through the course content. So let me also show you that. Yeah, here is the course content. So if you take Kubernetes, some of you are asking about the Kubernetes topics. Yeah, here is the complete Kubernetes content as well as EKS content I have placed separately, including auto scaling, right? CI/CD including EKS will be covered, right? Blue-green deployment strategies, canary deployments, rolling updates, persistent volumes, Helm charts, right? Prometheus and Grafana with Helm chart, monitoring the Kubernetes with Helm chart, microservice application deployment with stateful sets and persistent volumes, even those will be covered. Right, Helm chart on a microservice application will be covered to which will give you exposure on how to create your own Helm chart. And some of you are asking about Terraform. Yes, Terraform code, automating provision of EKS cluster using Terraform and also integrating it in the CI/CD pipeline. Right, and some of you have questions regarding pipeline as a code concept. You can visit here about pipeline as a code concept. Yeah, pipeline as a code concept using Groovy script on multi-branch jobs on multiple projects will be covered. It will be one Java application, another one will be microservice application with PHP and DB at the back end. So you'll get exposure to different stages or different pipelines, I can say. Certifications are not mandatory, Ritesh. Rather than certification, knowledge is important. Any one document to have an idea. Which document you want me to show, Indresh? Terraform via Jenkins. Or else let me show you here. The code we have used, like whatever Terraform pipelines, how to manage them here will be seen. And also if you see multiple pipelines, you can see 13 branches. I have made the branches for each tool to show you the integration. If you take here Kubernetes CICD, Jenkins file where you are integrating Jenkins, right? These are the different stages for one application you have. Right, this is where you are deploying Kubernetes files, Kubernetes integration. Similarly, Ansible, Linux basics will be covered, shell scripting will be covered, even we were calling shell scripts from our pipelines, even that will be covered. Ansible integration, see Ansible folder and Terraform folder with all the Terraform manifest files. These are the Terraform config files, which will be calling from our Jenkins pipeline, CICD pipeline. This is the CICD. See here, the stages were different where you are invoking Terraform. See, you don't go through it now because it may be just like Greek and Latin for you. Will go in a structured manner one after the other. But some of you has asked me, I'm showing you this. Just ignore it. And yeah, you can get started. My suggestion would be you can get started with writing or preparing your resumes now. Whenever you are starting the course, you can put your resume so that you will get calls and you will see like how the calls were, how the job descriptions, you will get some exposure. You can begin with resume preparation. We'll help you to prepare a tailor-made resumes for you. So you can contact us for explaining how to explain your resume with respect to the projects and all. Any more questions from your end? For fee and all, you can contact us on WhatsApp or call us directly straight. Once you are registered, you will be added to a separate WhatsApp group for collaboration with me for doubts and all. And you will be given access to all the courseware, including the complete quiz portal. Every day you have to take up this quiz after the class. Here is the quiz portal on every topic. This is to revise or evaluate your knowledge, like how much you know, how much every day you have to do it. Let's say you got some 12 out of 15 where you lost something. That's to revise or recheck your understanding the concepts. This will help you a lot to revise your concepts. All of this access you'll get once you are registered. Any more questions from your end? Anything else? Maybe if I missed anything, you can feel free to ask. Any questions, any concerns? Class will start from tomorrow, Shri, at the same time, 7:30 to 9 a.m. Every day class begins. It will be from Monday to Friday. Saturday, Sunday will be off. Only first session is on Sunday, that's all. Every day, every week, Monday to Friday. Same timing. And the Zoom link, if change, will start. For 3 days, it will be the same Zoom link, but it will change after that with the registered candidates. And one more thing I would like to show you, for interview questions, you don't need to go somewhere else. Here are all the interview questions, right? For every tool, if you see, there are list of tools. And if you take up one tool, let's say get started with Git, you have from beginner till the scenario-based interview questions. These are the scenario-based questions which you have to do hands-on after the class, right? We'll be helping you with to solve them. Every tool, the same is applicable. Yes, sir, Rafi. Self-learning videos will be also the same with a complete syllabus. Any more questions from your end?
Yeah, hi, Priti.
On
Here.
these templates.
Tell me, please.
Yeah, will you be sharing the recorded video of this session?
Yes, recorded sessions today will be posted in the YouTube as public video. On the WhatsApp group, we'll share the link in some time. Once the session is done, in an hour, within an hour, we'll share it.
Okay.
In case if you miss the session, Shalab, you have the recording available. Everyday class recordings will be available. You will have lifetime access for all the recordings, all the course content, and WhatsApp group also will be there for lifetime. Means as long as WhatsApp is there, we have WhatsApp groups. You have staff support always. Yes, lab sample documents, everything will be shared, Banu. Once registered, everything will be shared with you. So for registration to complete the process, you can reach out to Raj on the same WhatsApp number or reach out to me. So that is all from my
Preeti, all
end.
this content,
Tell me.
yeah, the templates and coding that you have shown us. So you are going to use those templates, or you can show it in the live session to
We will
for
do
the
it in the
IT
live.
staff.
This is done in the live and pushed here
Okay.
in the other batch. In your batch
Okay.
also, we'll do everything in the live. Just to show you, some
Okay.
of you asked, just show me, I have shown you. This is pushed in some other batches. We will create our own code, our own files. This is created some time back. This is my Git repo. For each batch we'll be creating and we'll be pushing onto the repo. You will get your own repo.
Okay. This lab that you are saying that you are creating, we can create ourselves our own lab. You are helping in that way, or you just creating the lab and sharing to us? What is the
I
process
will
on
show
doing?
the lab creation so that you have to create your own lab.
Own lab.
I will show you creating the lab with all the screenshots. Will provide you. Also, I'll create the lab in the class. The same way you have to create your own lab by creating your own free account so that you don't need to depend on others for the lab. It's a free lab basically.
So there is no cost involved for setting up
No
the lab, right?
cost involved. Yes.
How about using the paid services?
Paid services I will use and show you. It's up to you whether you want to use it or not. Means just listening also fine, because paid service and other service concepts would be same. Okay, but to show you the real exposure, I am giving demonstration. If you want, you can also do that. Otherwise, it's your choice. But others are all free.
Okay.
And also that will not cost more. Just if you use it properly, it will cost you minimal amount. If you use properly, if you misuse it, you may be charged. Otherwise, just minimal amount of 100 or 200 rupees. But
Okay.
still, that's your choice, your option. See, because if you are working or if you are interviewed, you'll be asked for those paid services. So that's the idea of covering those. Concepts would be same, but like how you use them, all of that I'll show you.
Okay.
Okay, there is some question. Will clear doubts if raised while taking the self-learn video course? Yes, Rafi, will be solved through WhatsApp. Do you just explain the code that you already written, or do you write line by line during our class? I think I already answered it, Avinash. That's created for some other batch. For our batch, we'll be creating again. That is created for some other batch. I have shown you as some of you as per sample. We will be creating everything from the scratch. Not code, we will not. Okay, developers will write the code. There are projects available on that code, Ansible files, Terraform files, those we will create from basics, like from scratch, whatever related to DevOps. Hope you got the point.
Is Docker and Kubernetes and theoretical part will also included in the notes?
Come again, please, louder, please.
This Docker and Kubernetes, they are new to me, so their theoretical points, little bit theoretical points will also be included in the notes.
Sorry, Indresh, couldn't get you. Docker and Kubernetes, that's all. After that, I couldn't get you. Can you please elaborate or type or speak out louder, please? Docker and Kubernetes. If anyone have understood, can someone put his question? Which AWS services and DevOps tools will be taught? Vinay Rao, have you just joined the class? Because we were talking about what are all the tools covered, the course content and everything. This is the course content. Okay, a brief list of tools were here. Git, Maven, Jenkins, Docker, Docker Compose, Ansible, Terraform. These are the brief list of tools. Okay, elaborative list of the topics and all the AWS services were here. Please visit this page. I'm also sharing it on the Zoom chat and let me know if you have any questions. Do you cover multi-node Kubernetes cluster in our learning or single node cluster? Also, do we learn managed cloud service? Avinash, I already answered this question. Yes, Kubernetes will be covered on multiple nodes. Two types of Kubernetes clusters will be covered. On-premise kind of cluster setup, as well as AWS EKS paid service or managed service will be also be covered. Okay, Indre's question is Docker and Kubernetes theoretical notes are also available, as I'm completely new to this. Yes, Indresh, they are available. Yes, you have everything available. Vinay, can you please go through the course content and let me know any questions? You can also reach out to me on WhatsApp for any further questions, or you can also call me. Anyone has any other questions, you can directly reach out to me. So that is all from my end. I want to thank every one of you for spending your valuable weekend time here. Thank you all so much, and we'll continue tomorrow. Thank you all. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.